the night. The city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I can do better. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak.
Thought another goal is all we needed. Taking second chances, still we bleed. And when all the love had been depleted, we had but no choice to concede. As the stars were dancing in that line, past that we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in that line. Future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry. It was bone dry.
Ladies and gentlemen, the European University Rocketeers Championship is just about to begin. 2 weeks of qualifiers have now come down to the start of our competition. My name's RW Dragon. I'm joined tonight by Princey. Hello, Princey. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I've had a busy day today. Work to hop on with Stumpy for some twos, and now straight into some great casting, I hope, for some brilliant Rocket League. But you'll have to wait and see on that, because it is only day one of the group stage. We're just beginning, aren't we?
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what, I feel awful. I mean, CRL being us 3-1. It's a rough time to be a European player. But I tell you what, they're not going to win the World Championship, so we'll just give them one thing at least. But ladies and gentlemen, the more important part is the Netherlands facing off against the United Kingdom. Sussex being one of, I believe, 15 teams. That is amazing. 15 teams. I believe 11 came from the qualifiers that we had the past 2 weeks. Unfortunately, Bournemouth can't be one of them, but I digress.
Oh, I got you here instead. It's better.
got us on the desk. Anyway, but Sussex, importantly, they got through, I believe, by coming fourth or third.
Top four, yeah. Top
four during the NSC season, and Rotterdam, I believe, one of the teams to join us through the qualifiers. A very good-looking team coming from the Netherlands, of course, rather than Rotterdam in the United States. Don't even know if that's a place, but again, I digress. It's more important that we start by sorting the weaker teams from the strong as we start in this Group A matchup.
Yeah, Rotterdam, actually, the way they got through in that first qualifier was through the lower bracket, where they had to reverse sweep Kiel to do so. They pretty much were on their last breaths, and it was going nowhere for them, but they soon, I don't know if it was a mix of Kiel throwing and them, finally stepping up and realizing that they needed to play, but they got through in the end. And the players are really eager to go.
Players are
right
agitated, so I'm just going to give them go.
Yeah. Who do we think will take this on paper? Who do you think's the one? Who's your?
It's a rough one to divide, because as much as my United Kingdom bias wants to come through and say Sussex, I'm strongly thinking Rotterdam. Going through as a highly rated team. Distan sort of evening things out, but Fisk aiming to prove me completely wrong. 11 seconds in, he scores the opener for Sussex.
Yeah, just no pressure on the ball at all from Rotterdam. It looks like they were asleep because they just didn't do anything besides the kickoff. And I've got to say, that is probably one of the biggest issues I've had with Rotterdam. Like, I casted their that first qualifier where we saw them in the upper finals and then in the lower finals again, where they almost lost. And it just took them so long to get going. They're definitely a slow burner, but once they get up to speed, they can actually start doing stuff. And I mean, for their sake and for any Dutch fans out there, you'd hope that maybe they can just finally get the wheels turning rather quickly.
Sussex as a team, they're relatively on par with any, I would say, low to mid National League team in the United Kingdom without Distan. Then suddenly Distan comes in and he boosts you to the top. I can definitely confirm that as being a thing, as Bournemouth beat Sussex without Distan during the NSE qualifiers. But it just speaks volume of what Distan can do for the team. As here we can lose the 50-50, but TJX on the wall here.
He gets baited out by the man. I think it was Wizard on the wall. Just looked like he was getting the touch, didn't make it, but TJX trusted his opponent.
Do you see good dribble? Almost open. I say almost opening it. It does. Distan doesn't have the support network behind him. As one dives in and Distan's block is not quite as far out to the side as he would like. Maxio doubling up the goals for the Netherlands team.
This is a really weird game so far, and almost a third off kickoff there as well for Rotterdam. It's just the teams look so lethargic and slow. I don't know if that's because we kept them waiting. I mean, Rotterdam were in here for quite a while until we finally made contact with a player from Sussex who would respond. Almost believed through there.
So taking him to an edge, all blocked out by TJX. Distan looking to follow through. 47 boost on his side as Juicy sending out to Maxio. Redirect miss. TJX no boost up onto the ceiling. Can't find the block as it falls into the middle. Sent high by Wizard. Here comes Maxio. The shot is down. Distan's there. He's not fooled by any shots coming through. It's Wizard. Pops it over one. Distan will take control with the dribble. Taking it forward. Juicy isn't fooled either as it pops up into the air. TGX is there first. Maxio out to the left. It's Wizard sending it downfield. Distan clearing it straight back. TGX can continue move forward. A double tap coming through to the far post. Juicy blocks it out. Wizard sending out to Maxio. Great transition out of defense from Rotterdam, but they're just losing it out in the final sort of third before they can truly make a play.
No, but it seems like the players are finally getting their mechanics going. They're starting to... I think the speed of the game slowly starting to ramp up as well now, as we're seeing the passing plays come out and the individual plays. It was a really good save from Juicy from the shot, the double tap by TJX. And with that, you know, it's keeping them in it. Or ahead, I should say, even. But they're bringing more pressure now.
Dutch side definitely bringing on a little bit more aggression. He's able to hold it in the Sussex half for a little bit longer than Sussex can hold it in the Rotterdam half. Maxio just about clearing out to the side. Distan gets a catch. This Wizard maintains control. Pushed out to the side again. 100 boost to Maxio as he pinches it into the middle. All it does to fall to Fisk. Fisk to the ceiling. Loses control. Juicy drops it down. Maxio will have to continue it off the wall. He doesn't quite. TJX the pass into the middle. Met with empty promises by Sussex. It's Distan. Walking out with a 50-50. TJX is still there. Sussex starting to grind out some pressure as Fisk fakes out one. Can't find the shot though. Pushed out to the middle. TJX is there. Trying to push it down to Distan. Distan pushing it towards net. Juicy once again trying to find Wizard. Distan will block it out as we enter the last minute, Princey. Anyone's game as Sussex looking to get back into this game.
Yeah, it's still anyone's game, but we seem to have reached a bit of a stalemate.
Oh.
Never mind. Juicy finds the top corner on that one. What a shot.
Rotterdam's goals seem to come out of nowhere almost.
Yeah, Distan didn't get the clearers after. Maybe he wanted TJX to rotate down quickly and, you know, create a quick counter, but Juicy and Wizard were both on that ball in a flash. They just read Distan to a T on that one. And as you were saying, anyone's game, I'm pretty sure this is Rotterdam's game now. They looked comfortable, even though, you know, it was just back and forth pressure. And now they've got that 2-goal gap.
I feel like Rotterdam is one of the teams who thrive on that back and forth gameplay. Because back and forth means that there's more likely to be a mistake in the game. As soon as that mistake comes through, they seem to be able to pounce on it. but just as much as they pounce on it, Distan can as well. Fisk, a well-worked goal, takes one out of the play and waits from the hesitation of Wizard as Distan blasts it home.
Yeah, it was interesting for Fisk because he beat the man, took his time, which was great, and then I don't know if he just expected the last man to charge him down, but he really rushed the flick.
What the?
Wait, what is this game? Most of these goals have been this, and what is this? What is going on here?
This has been a right mixture of a game, Princey. We've seen some wonderfully worked goals, like Fisk, who took out one player out on a dribble and left it for Distan to come through off the hesitation. And then we see some goals like that. We've also had some goals off defensive mistakes, well pounced on by Rotterdam. They look to smash one in. Maxio off the crossbar, it's still there. Distan coming in with a save. Fisk needs to clear it out, find the overtime. They do. Ladies and gentlemen, the first game, the first overtime.
And this, honestly, if you were Rotterdam, you'd be kicking yourselves because they gave away 2 defendable goals. I mean, the second one, you got no words for it. It's just like terrible mix-up. But now they're going to really
hold on.
by. But oh.
I was watching the screen and I just saw Distan commit and 2 Sussex players in the middle of nowhere, and I thought, my goodness. This is a problem. Bump, missed out. Distan makes a save. TGX has space, a little bit of time as well. Drops it down, looking for Distan. Distan not committing to that, but maybe he'll bite on that as Wizard comes through, gets there first. Fisk looking for possession as he gets the block on Juicy. Wizard out to the diagonal. Distan looking for backboard. Wizard clears it out. Huge clearance. As suddenly Sussex are the ones on the back foot. Maxio taking his time, taking it through. Fisk will read that nicely though. It's Juicy again taking his time. Passing to the center as that's blocked by TJX. Maxio looking for the backboard. That drops down. Rotterdam looking a little bit more dangerous so far in this overtime.
Just struggling to get the power on the shots required. The build-up plays great, but it's just that final touch. It's not quite working, but somehow, again, that almost goes through. The teams are just... There's a lot of calculated fakes, I'm going to say, coming out that are really catching out either side.
Getting some wrong way Woody vibes here.
Oh, that's nice play.
Save from Juicy. 2 top tier players on their teams going to blows there as Juicy just about manages to block out Distan. Sussex on the back line. Fisk needs good air dribble here. Manages it. He has control still. The shot gave it a little bit of hesitation, but still possession for Sussex. It's Maxio again, clears it out to the side. TGX can't read it right. Fisk and Juicy going together. Fisk once again clearing it out. Big clearances starting to come through from both teams. As go on to overtime. 1 goal. There's a lot more risk onto this. If you get your siege offense, your pressure offense wrong, that's a counter-attacking goal. If you get it right, you get the glory, but neither of these teams want to go for the siege. They're just blasting it back and forth and seeing what happens, seeing who will break first as we get towards 3 minutes of overtime in the first game of the first series between Sussex and Rotterdam.
Yeah, it's just... Oh, Maxio almost. I was about to just start saying, like, the pace of the play is really slowing down. These teams are just, like, you know, respecting each other now. They don't want to force their hand, you know, try and force a play and mess up, but Wizard, oh, again, he almost gets it. There's 2 great chances now coming out for Rotterdam. And that, I mean, that sums up the game. That literally sums up this game 1. What was that?
Fisk coming through, and that was almost the save that Sussex would have wanted. It would have pushed out to the side. Distan would have been able to take it from there, but it just got the bottom of the car and it drops down. And Juicy will take that every day of the week, in every game of this series, in fact. The first game going to Rotterdam 4-3. And quite a cagey affair in that overtime that we just had.
Yeah, I'm just still a bit confused as to what happened on that last goal, because Fisk just didn't need to go for that. It was going away from net, Distan was under it, and there's no pressure on the ball. And on top of it all, the pace of the play had been so slow. Like, both these teams have been respecting each other so much that they'd just not really been charging down their opponents. They'd been waiting for them to play the ball back. I think in part, though, that's down to Sussex. I've noticed them already pulling out a lot of fakes in this game one, really trying to just bait out their opposition, but Rotterdam have been wise to it. And that's why we've seen such a slow game.
I think I can understand Fisk. You know, that clearance would have sped the pace up of the game, that slight push out as we've had a server go down for maintenance. So not only did the players slow down the series, but also Silex wants to slow down this series. But just as I was saying, Fisk, that clearance, if he got it right, if he pushed it out to the side as he wanted it, Distan going onto it, that's a change of pace. That's just going from the slow motion play that we were originally seeing, then being very careful to suddenly, and everything's sped up. And that change of pace catches a lot of teams off guard, and they can put a lot of teams off balance. So with Fisk changing the pace of that entire game, that entire series all of a sudden, arguably that could have caught Rotterdam out just in that instant and earned them the goal they needed. But in the end, Fisk mistiming that dodge, bottom of his car, maybe a little bit of desperation to do what Distan maybe could have done. I mean, Distan has the experience. He can speed up a game as well, just as well with maybe an air dribble off the wall like he probably would have done, taking it off the wall and gotten rid of it very nicely. But, you know, Fisk, understandable mistake. Very understandable mistake, but unfortunately the missed touch led to the goal.
I mean, for all of that Rocket League we just played, that was only game one. So there is quite a bit left in this series. It is a best of 5, but Rotterdam do now have the upper hand. And I mean, saying that, they might have the upper hand, but I think the way Sussex, have gone about this game one, they now have the power to speed up the game because they were the ones in control of it. Like, they were fully in control of the game speed and the dictation of the play. It was just the little mistakes that, I mean, they cost both teams in terms of conceding.
Well, huge questions to be asked as Fisk looking for the side wall as he sends it out to the middle. TJX missing now on that pass. Distan will bring it forward. Maxio under pressure. Distan loses out on the 50-50 to Juicy, but it slows the ball down enough for TGX to be in position. Maxio finding the clearance. Fisk has gone up, but Distan has read the play. Juicy out to the side. TGX is there. Sussex finding their way into this game. TGX almost getting through with the fake. Juicy on the line makes a stop. Ladies and gentlemen, Sussex, they're aiming to get back into this with a few fakes and a few dribble plays.
And a lot of offense right now. They're really going after... Yeah, that's expected. With all the pressure here coming out from Sussex, they finally get the goal. It just took them a while for that ball actually being put that high. I don't think Wizard had boost. So, not quite what they were after, but,
Part of me thinks that TGX wasn't really wanting to go for that high touch. But in the end, Wizard coming in sort of expecting a shot. He can't save it now. It's up in the air. It's gone where he can't go. Distan comes through. Easy shot for him as Sussex, just a slight miscue there. Fisk will maintain possession though as he drops down for the 100. Juicy pushing it towards net. Distan out to the right hand side. Wizard is there. Pushing it away. TGX looking for Distan. The fake wasn't quite needed there as Maxio able to come through. The stunning double touch brings on the equalizer.
The recovery to get up so quickly, because that spun him round. That was brilliant. And then the shot placed on the far post. Maxio is waking up and he's trying to bring out some plays of his own, try and get the speed going, because that was all speed there. We might see this game slowly ramp up now because of plays like that.
Maxio pops up to Wizard. Wizard finds block as that's pushed out. Juicy out to the side. TGX left awkward. It's a touch. Pushed out to where Distan is on the wall. saving his flip. Can't find a way through with that. Fisk into the middle. TGX just a little bit too high on the pitch. As he gets in the way of Maxio. What a great defensive bump there coming through from Sussex. Distan puts it into the middle. Wizard blocks it out. Distan. Awkward touch put in play. 3 minutes to go. We are still tied after that goal from Maxio. So he's the one bringing it forward now. Can't find a way around Distan though, so he'll just go through him. Wizard out to the side where Juicy is. Fisk bringing it forward. Taking the catch. Takes it round one. Can't find a way around Wizard. And Distan shies away from the 50-50, which just might cost him. It will. Rotterdam 2-1 up once again.
This game's just become very, very back and forth, and I think it's suiting Rotterdam because it's removing the control that Sussex had on the ball. And that was very good play as well, just the delay. I think Distan expected him to go right away, and he knew that if Maxio had just gone and, we'll say bim-bammed the ball, then with Distan going in to challenge that, it may have just pinched into his own net. So it made sense that he didn't challenge, but well played from Maxio and deserving 2-1.
Distan air dribble over two, but these high-level players, as soon as they see open space, they're thinking dribble straight away. So Maxio in an instant, in a flash, getting hold of that as Distan puts on the backboard. TJX is there. He'll find the net. Great passing play from Sussex to equalise once again. 2:03 to go. We're tied at 2-2.
Such a good delayed flick from Distan. Maxio put all his faith in his teammate getting to the ball as well, because for so long it looked like he was going to be first on it, but then Distan's flip throws him back onto it, and it's a great tap down to his teammate.
Distan up, trying to find the edge of the way. Slight double commit from TGX and Fisk. Fisk can't follow through, but he does put the pressure on the net. TGX will follow through. Distan moving away from the challenge. And he does take possession here. Air dribble. And straight into the orange half. Taking it into a dribble. Slows the play down into the center. TGX can't find the net. As Fisk rotates round to block out Maxio's possession. Into the center. No one there to follow through from Sussex. It's Fisk sending it out to TJX. TJX in control. Into the middle. Distan is there. Out to the diagonal. That'll pop into the center. Fisk will be there. Drops it down onto the crossbar. TJX too slow. It looks like a few whiffs coming through from Rotterdam won't clear their lines, and Distan will jump on that opportunity. 3-2 Sussex in game 2.
Yeah, just as I was saying before, the speed increase seemed to be suiting Rotterdam. They've lost a bit of what's it? Not concentration, but they've lost their nerve slightly there. As now we're seeing Distan really come out and start to dictate the game once again at this higher speed. The pass, and then I think just their general speed of the play now. They've suddenly turned to go onto every ball, and it's really catching Rotterdam out. And that's why, when you start one play style, it usually helps to change your fortunes. But Wizard and Maxio team up quite nicely there. Fisk elects not to try and go on that at all. Wrong decision, as that's an open shot.
Needed to jump up on that backboard, try and block that out as best you can. So we have a tied game with the last minute to tick down. 45 seconds to go, and Wizard coming through with the air dribble. Won't find the net. It will put Sussex on the back foot for a moment. It's Maxio. Sends the ball out wide. A bump in the side. Could open the net for Sussex as Distan. The shot blocked. TJX looking for the center. Wizard will block that out. Juicy touches makes it a little awkward, but Distan's used to awkward. C comes through. Can't find the right touch, but TGX will follow through and maintain pressure as it drops down. Fisk can't get there first, but Sussex, they are finally finding the pressure, finally finding the shots. They're looking far more dangerous as we head towards the overtime tick down. Maxio's shot saved from TJX. Great recovery from Sussex. They need to let it drop for overtime, as they do. Game 2 going to overtime as well.
Just being sat on Fisk's view there, I thought he'd just thrown the game for his team. But fortunately, his teammate was back. And yeah, we have overtime, but this is... I don't expect to see such an open game in this overtime as we saw just before, because they were... in game 1, as you said, it was very cagey. But this game 2 was just end-to-end stuff. It's been so open, and just like that, TJX slots the ball home into an open net. I think Wizard was trying to fake him, but
I think part of it was a little change of style. I mean, throughout that game, we'd seen Sussex be relatively patient, allow them to dribble a little bit too much. That's why Maxio scored a few of his goals coming through in that game. But this time, TGX decided to just go for it. Just shut him down in an instant. Not give him a second to just try and start a dribble. Wizard clearly wasn't expecting it. He was just trying to get a catch, trying to get the dribble, but all of a sudden, here comes TGX, gets the dunk, rolls into the net. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a tied series.
We have a tied series, 2 games, 2 overtimes, 1-1. This is I think this is going to be a long series. This probably go to the full 5. But
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. Yes.
No, it's obviously great, but the stats here so in favor of Sussex on shots. They had 16 to 7. 16 shots and only managed 4 goals. I mean, that's because Rotterdam brought out 5 saves, but still, with that much pressure, you've got to be putting away chances more than you did. And once again, the goals they conceded for Sussex were pretty poor. Well, not poor, but they were defensive mistakes that if they can just tweak to remove those, we might actually see Sussex just walk through this next one. So it's more on them, I think, and Rotterdam trying to pass play more and break out of this the oppression that Sussex have brought onto them.
Well, Sussex start to turn up the heat. Rotterdam will have to start matching them once again. That overtime going away of Sussex. I believe another 4-3 scoreline. They're having a high-scoring series. I'm not sure whether it's a statement on the defense of these teams or question of the offense. It's TGX putting pressure on Rotterdam. This stands up, shot just off target, but makes it awkward for Rotterdam to clear out. But all 3 of Sussex have committed upfield. Fisk will make it back to get an awkward popped touch. Distan can't make it, but Juicy will send it wide. Distan covering enough of the net to force the wide shot. As Distan misses it, and that almost drops in. And you getting disconnect right now, or is that only me?
I've been disconnected as well. I thought it was me because I have had internet issues, but I think the server might have died.
Well, not only does Psyonix want to not grow the EU scene, but they decide to disconnect the servers on us.
I hope that's not, the typical back to what Psyonix servers did before, but I'm guessing, I've been booted out, so probably just remake that.
I feel bad for Sussex because on my screen the ball was rolling into the Rotterdam net.
I just was running around in circles, so it's all right.
So everyone running around in circles, and the ball was just slowly rolling into the Rotterdam net, and I thought, don't reconnect now and find out the ball's just nestling in your net.
This guy was he was just messaging me saying he was really scared that, it was him that disconnected. I think everyone had that feeling that it was like, oh my God, I've disconnected. Because I just stopped for a second and I was like, wait, have I just died? The players clearly have all done the same, but no, it was good old servers. So we will just
seems like the reasonable thing to say. We'll restart from 0.
Yeah, we'll just start.
Both teams, no goals scored. 50 seconds in. I'm pretty sure it's clear in the rules that we're just going to restart the match, just to make it clear for everyone watching. I'm sure everyone really understands the rule, but make sure there's transparency.
Yeah.
But in this slight break in between teams, we have 2 scores that have happened in this Group A that I have highlighted. Berlin Phoenix taking down Durham Defenders in a sweep. So they are through to the Uniliga stream next if you do want to check out the German stream. Just mute the audio if you're not fluent in German, and enjoy some good Rocket League. But also on the other side of things, Warwick A getting through 3-1 against then their Dutch opponents, Groningen, to face, in fact, the winner of this match.
Ooh. Does that mean we have this on stream, or does it depend if Rotterdam win? Sussex don't want Rotterdam to win. They have put
clearly
up early.
It looks like they fancy a game against Warwick. As 9 seconds in, Distan finding the net early on.
Yeah, this has been a big issue with Rotterdam at the start of every game. They've conceded early. Besides the one that disconnected that didn't get played, but they've had big trouble at the back just gathering themselves for the first few seconds, as we saw a huge sort of triple commit, which led to that open net being put away.
Maxio being 2 players down that wall. Fisk will not be beaten though. TGX recovering just in time. They don't seem to like Distan. Maxio doesn't seem to like him. Second demo already being put on Distan by Maxio. It's Wizard pushing it towards net. That one's wide as Distan sends it out to TGX. They're trying to work through this defensive clearance rather than a huge smash out. Don't mind the possession, but make sure you keep it away from your own net, as Rotterdam will jump on every opportunity. We saw it game 1, saw part of it in game 2. Any defensive mistakes Sussex will make, Rotterdam are always in position to counter it. It's Juicy. Sends it up to the ceiling. Maxio's there, gets demoed for his troubles. Distan is up, sending it out to the side. As Juicy finds possession, Distan will get in the way. Maxio out to the back wall. Fisk out to the side. TGX is there, but Juicy will block that again. Rotterdam going on the aggressive, looking for demo plays early on, and it works out. 2 players need to jump, and Maxio will put it into the corner.
Yeah, we've seen a big switch up towards demos in this game quite early on from Rotterdam. They've really, really gone for them. And that one worked well because it caused both players in there actually to jump. And once that happens, place the ball nicely into the side as Maxio did. And it's more or less a free shot as that one goes close from Wizard. And once again from Juicy, but TGX is just about there.
Maxio takes possession, flicks it over one. TGX will final clearance. Rotterdam. Just a bit more possession at the moment. TGX out to the side. It's now time for Sussex to come forward. A few miscues there as Wizard able to push it upfield. Out to Juicy, sending it to the backboard. Distan will just about cover him. He tries to come through, get the clearance. Sussex in an awkward position. Said at the start of the series, once you remove Distan from the equation, you'll find it. You'll find the Sussex team will struggle. But another miscue from Sussex will find that open net is not converted.
No, I think Distan just expected that one in the air. So he pre-jumped ever so slightly. Now coming back the other way, Maxio with the calculated double tap off his back, off the crossbar, sorry. And gets away with that one, I'd say, because that looked almost like it was going to be a terrible miss.
No, it was a fantastic follow from Maxio. We've seen how well he can recover. He's just done another one there.
No, he meant it.
Once again, Rotterdam find themselves 2-1 up in this game. It feels like we've just copy and pasted the script a few times over. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another overtime with both teams tied at 3 goals apiece. It's Rotterdam looking to find their third as part of the script. Sussex looking to equalise it up. Choose your own adventure script clearly. Both teams look to rewrite it. Distan pushing it out to the centre. Looking for control. He gets that with an air dribble. Looking for a second touch into the middle. Fisk is there. Blocked out by Juicy. TGX finds the guillotine touch. It comes down. No one is there to convert as Distan seems to follow through a little too closely to be able to lock it in. One demo comes through, but Fisk is there. Into the middle from Distan. Fisk blocked out to the side. TGX will continue it. Fisk into the middle. Distan isn't there to complete the team play, but Maxio is. as he pushes it forward for Rotterdam. Fisk in control. Flicks it past 1. Not past the second as TGX has a chance with the duel. Doesn't leave it for Distam, but takes it past 1. Distam pops it up. Fisk might not be able to get it there first. Drop down into the middle again. We are going into the last minute with a 1-goal advantage for Rotterdam. But Sussex looking the better side all of a sudden.
There's a lot of pressure coming out from Sussex right now. Oh, Distan just gets the save. The counter-attack coming through from Rotterdam. Now they want the pressure themselves. Can't quite get it, but this is still alright for them. They're burning down the Titan. They got away with a few scares just before, as there were a couple triple commits. That's a bad miss, but can't beat the last man. And 20 seconds to go. This one's looking like the script might be rewritten for once. That was a bit scary.
Well, looks like the 4-3 scoreline will not be repeated, but Sussex still looking for an equalizer as the final few seconds tick down. Distan will block that up. TGX needs to get there, keep it alive. He does. Juicy will let that drop though. Rotterdam betraying Rule 1 to keep it up at 0 seconds, but they aren't betraying each other by letting it drop, so they can take the lead in the series. 2-1 to Rotterdam.
I think it's fair enough they don't keep that ball up there. They're looking a bit awkward if they do try to. And they're obviously winning, so there's no reason for them to. One thing I will say, though, is Rotterdam looked a lot better coming out this game, bringing the demos. They cleared a lot of space for themselves that previously Sussex were occupying in that game too. And you can just see that in the stats. They actually averaged more shots this game. 10 themselves to the 8 from Sussex, so still very close. But, you know, just got rid of a lot of that pressure that they were feeling from that game too.
It's amazing what demos can do. Just opens up the pitch, opens up the defense, and you find it a lot easier to score when there's no one there. Or no one able to properly make an effort, as it was the case for the first goal. Maxio, of course, finding that amazing read off the crossbar to make the second. But Sussex, just as much that they've made some chances. It was just about converting. And converting they didn't. A few mistakes coming through from them. They did open up the net quite nicely, which I find a positive. If you're able to create a chance, create an opportunity, get through the defense, that's something positive. If it's something off just like a simple mistake, like it was in the first game, where we saw one just drop in from the ceiling, that's slightly less positive. It's not you who earned that goal. It was sort of the other team making the mistake. But now, Sussex will hope to create more of those opportunities that they did towards the end of that match to take this series to Game 5.
There's been a lot of chances for both teams that, you know, they both created. The big issue I think that, I mean, both teams have been having is just putting their chances away. Like, right now, once again, there's always seems to be just that last man in the way. They just can't quite beat the last man, and I mean, that's probably because these teams are, you know, so highly rated in terms of overall skill. I think we're looking at an average 1800 MMR lobby.
It's certainly high. I can't confirm or deny that statement. But, certainly looking at some top players in Rocket League. And just on the 4 minutes remaining mark, Maxio, fantastic dribble with that Dominus. Flick it over TGX into the top shelf.
Delayed flick as well, just waits till he can get close enough to catch that one right. It looked like Wizard was thinking of going for the demo as well. Maybe, you know, just throws a few extra doubts in TGX's mind. But this is the first time we've actually seen Rotterdam take the lead. And, you know, they're still 2-1 up in this series. So this is not looking good right now for Sussex. They've really got to change up their playstyle a bit. Maybe they need to go for demos themselves, because we've not seen that from them.
Just as that opportunity came through, they just about got in each other's way. Just need to be careful with the rotations. They find themselves in the same position a lot of the time as well. It's Maxio pushing it forward, takes it past one. Can't quite take it past another, but Juicy will there to follow through. Fisk gets there first though. Is Sussex able to push it back upfield? Rotterdam out into the corner now. Dis down. Gets the block, but he's demoed for his troubles. TGX. Huge clearance upfield. It's Fisk's turn. The shot just over the top. Maxio will make sure it does. But that save. Dis down into the center. Fisk is there. Juicy makes a ridiculous save on the goal line. And they keep that 1-goal lead.
That's got to be so frustrating for Sussex because there seemed almost like there was no way anyone was saving that. After Wizard had taken the ball off his man in net, it almost seemed like a certain goal for Sussex, but the ball just gets hit right at the defender. And that's the worst part, is like if you'd maybe just hit it a little bit further off to the side, you know? And now they're doubting themselves in their head. They're starting to get a bit more annoyed as the clock's counting down. They've got 2 minutes and 15 seconds to not only just find an equalizer, but take the lead and then do it all again in a game 5.
A rough position for Sussex to get back from. It's TGX in possession, takes it past 1. Juicy will be there to take control though. Not that much as he just powers it back upfield. Wizard can't find the catch either. Will take the boost though. TGX will still follow through. Confidence without boost can sometimes fool your opponents. In this case, no goal to the better for Sussex off that offensive opportunity. TGX bringing it forward, has the boost. Trying to send it behind Wizard off the backboard. Fisk taking control. Can't get it past Wizard though. TGX again on the boost, blocks it out. Blocks out the control from Juicy. Maxio's up. Again, huge 50-50. Sussex trying to blast through that side. They can't manage it, and they can't manage to find the net at the moment. Time for Rotterdam to send it forward. Distan needs to get up. Does so. Out to the side. Fisk blocking it out. Maxio looking for the backboard. Distan will send it out to his mate TGX, but Juicy once again reading the play very nicely. The net is open. TGX defensive demo just about works out. As the last 45 seconds are about to tick down, the 1-goal deficit is still there for Sussex to overcome.
Yeah, that was almost a huge own goal as he went for the demo. But once again, huge opportunities for Sussex just not being found. They've had most of their offensive play coming through the corners as well, but it really closes down your angles and it allows for much easier defending as you only need to cover like 30 to 45 degrees rather than a full 180 if you're playing the infield passes across net. So they've got 10 seconds to find anything right now.
Well, what a place to tick down those 10 seconds. They've been in the offensive half. Wizard taking it away from TJX.
Oh, that's
once
it.
again away, Sussex. They lose the series 3-1, but Rotterdam, they'll march on to the next game to face off against Warwick A, who took down their Dutch brethren in their round 1 matchup. Positive for them. You said they were slow to start their previous series, but this time, slow once again, but they seemed to turn up the heat as soon as Sussex tried to turn it up against them.
They were slow in every game bar the last one. They went 1 goal down within the first 10 seconds of every game. So it's weird how, you know, that happens. They just clearly don't turn themselves on like from the get-go, but they realized that in this game 4. And then you might say they held on for dear life, or, you know, they just believed in their defensive ability, which throughout this whole series has been really strong. They've probably made at least 50 saves, I think, in these 4 games. Well, no, that's a bit extreme. About 30 to 40, somewhere around there, because once they've averaged, they've got 7 saves in this one. I'm sure they had 8 or 9 in the previous one as well. They're just very solid in that.
And Sussex just not quite as solid in terms of returning the favour on offense. I mean, they had opportunities. They had countless opportunities to be able to really find the net and turn the match on its head once again, but they missed all those opportunities. And next up, they'll be, in terms of the losers side of the bracket, they'll be playing against Fair Play Groningen, I believe. Durham defenders They'll be facing off against UNIPD Padua, Italian University, who just about lost against the Brighton Babes 3-2. So Brighton have a tough next match against Berlin Phoenix. But for us, I believe we're following Warwick against Rotterdam next. We'll be following Rotterdam along into their next match.
Is it not Group A match F, or am I behind?
I think you're behind. If you check our exclusive casters chat.
Oh, we got it in the. You'll be following the winners of this match into the next match. Oh. I mean, then it's wrong in the streams chat. So apologies, Sin, but it does say Group A match F. Oh no, I can't read. Never mind. I am a silly. Apologies, Cineris. You are never wrong. I am wrong. You are indeed correct. It is
I've never tried to insult the big man.
Erasmus.
He will smite you down.
He will, and I've got the good old stream to have a go at me now as well. So they won't let that one go lightly.
Drums is going to have a field day if he watches this.
Of course. Yeah, I got my numbers mixed up. E and F, they look very similar when you're quite far away from your screen. So, whatever. I'm pulling excuses out my ass.
Just to confirm, Warwick A, those will be the next challenges to Rotterdam. And that will be for a place in the group of 16 group stage. And of course, in the other half of this Group A, Brighton Babes facing off against Berlin Phoenix. They'll be also playing for a spot in that same group stage of the competition in their matchup. But it's all about it in this side of things. I believe we'll be throwing it to a break to let Keezer, our producer, sort out things to do with the overlay. But in the meantime, enjoy some music. Possibly check out the other streams we have going on. But just remember, Rotterdam versus Warwick on this one. Just a reminder for the viewers and Princey. But we'll see you after this quick break. Welcome back to the EURC UK-based stream on Rocket Kingdom TV. I'm RW Dragon, Princey. We're back, of course, on stream. No one's replacing us, ever. And but this time we have followed on from Rotterdam's 3-1 victory over Sussex to continue following their journey through this bracket, but this time their opponents also from the UK, weighing in at something, I don't know. The following contest is scheduled for a best-of-5 match against Warwick A and Rotterdam, their opponents, for the next matchup.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give them away, I'd say Warwick are quite the heavy immovable object in front of net. They are known for being stubborn in goal and being very hard to score against. Probably like what Rotterdam were becoming towards the end of that series against Sussex. So this might be a very different matchup to what we expect. We might see a lot more from Rotterdam actually pushing out, and then Warwick getting them on the counter, as Rotterdam were doing to Sussex in part. So, you know, it's might see very different playstyle from Rotterdam, and that might throw them off. We'll have to wait and see. But
as someone who's faced off against Warwick very recently, the second week of NSC qualifiers, I can definitely say they're a counter-attacking team, and they are very fast at doing it. I mean, not only are they all about the same rank, about the same level, that's a great sort. It has to be said, if you're all the same rank at your university, there's going to be no rank disparity. Everyone's going to be more of on the same page. If you play at the same rank consistently, you sort of get the idea of how you play. So all of them are on that same page. But also they have Walden, who smashes the ball and dribbles it just as easily in the Batmobile. All of them can take it forward. All of them have that ability. So the counterattack is about 3 times more dangerous than a lot of teams because they are on the same page and because they have that speed advantage.
Yeah, not only that, but Walden can just counterattack it by going to his wall and then pinching it into your net. So you've got to watch out for that extra dimension that he brings to the game as well, because that's something that he loves to try at least once or twice every series, maybe even every game. So it'd be nice, you know, if he gets one of those, a bit of a hype moment. But we're ready to go.
2 European heavyweights facing off in the next round. This for a spot in the next stage of the EURC is Walden taking it round. Doesn't win the 50-50 against his opposing number, Wizard. Gopher going up a little bit early. As said, I do remember Gopher starting very slow in our recent series against them. Another best of 5. Admittedly, they did get the better of us eventually. But Gopher, he's a very slow starter, whereas the rest of his team are very quick to it. Alice the Cat Whisperer and Walden, very quick to adapt to a team, very quick to jump on any mistakes, whereas Gopher a little bit more methodical. But when he gets there, he's a wonderful player and very difficult player to play against. As Rotterdam, I'm sure they'll soon to find out, as Juicy takes it forward in a dribble, pops it over one, Gopher's there. Taking it down, Maxio, the shot on target. Smart rotations coming in from Warwick. One behind another, getting ready for saves in that corner. Ooh. Fake coming through. The net was open for just a moment there. Rotterdam needed to rotate back around. So a little bit of a slower start in a way than we had against Sussex with Rotterdam. So no goals have been scored in the first 1.5 minutes.
Oh, no, never mind. You spoke too early, mate. Good old caster's curse.
Exactly at 1:29, just before I was going to be right. Walden smashes one into the back of the net.
Yeah, a lot of power on that. He caught that perfectly with the Batmobile. Then smashes his Batmobile into the crossbar to show off, as you do. But, yeah, that's one thing I think you've got, like, not only the extra dynamic from Walden being, you know, in a Batmobile, can get his Cookso pinches off and everything, but him and Alice have been very solid throughout all NSC 1v1 tournaments. They always end up in the top 4, Walden usually fighting for the top spot. So they have that extra edge that you don't end up wanting to leave them against you in a 1v1 situation, because likely they'll probably end up scoring on you.
Not only that, they've been teaming for quite a long time, so two very good players, two very good mechanical players, teaming for a long time. A lot of chemistry has been brewed. So Alice takes it round one, popped up the wall by Wizard. Dropping it down, Walden will make the save. Almost halfway through the game, Rotterdam not struggling to keep it in the Warwick half, but struggling to find that critical pass, that moment of brilliance to find that goal, as Warwick getting away with that Wizard air dribble. Go for looking for a little redirect there in towards the net. Let's go for sends it towards the backboard. Juicy up the wall. Into air dribble it out. Push it out to Wizard. Wizard sending it straight upfield. Gopher will allow Walden to catch as he takes it round one, but a bump will take him out of the play. Off the backboard, Maxio hitting the crossbar. 2 minutes to go. No equaliser coming through from Rotterdam just yet.
No, that's their best chance so far of the game, and just couldn't quite put it under the crossbar from Maxio. But the game's been rather stale. Fought a lot in Warwick's third, but fought at a point where there's always been at least two players behind the ball, so it's not been dangerous against them at all. And that's just, I think, Warwick's playstyle in a nutshell, as this one is actually on its way to net. Maxio did have the boost to get back to it, but that's the danger. You get frustrated against a team like Warwick. You start pushing more and more people upfield because you can't get past them, and Walden will just do that to you. Point proven.
Get them frustrated, get the counter-attacking goal, or the huge clearance. It's the most valuable thing to have against a team like Warwick. Just have the moment of patience. Just wait. You're gonna catch them off guard on the back line, but at the moment, Rotterdam, they have to change to this play style. Sussex, very forward-heavy, and suddenly they have a radically different team to try and take apart and analyze in Warwick. So this time Warwick, 2-goal lead going into the last minute. Wizard blocks that one. Maxio faked out by Alice. As Alice takes it up the wall, picking up the 100 boost as well. Can't find bumps, but will waste a little bit of time with this play. Go for missing out on the shot. So it doesn't come through. They won't expand on their lead, but once again at this point, Warwick, it's all about breaking down time, letting it wither away, let it crumble away, as Rotterdam need to find 2 goals in quick succession here as the last 15 seconds tick down. Go for up. Again, an annoying little touch, keeping Rotterdam away from their own nets. 5 seconds to go. Warwick, they'll be taking game one very nicely, as Rotterdam can barely find a proper chance.
They can, and that's the worrying thing. They only had one big opportunity coming through from Maxio, from a little bit of individual brilliance.
I can say barely have a chance, but there's five saves coming through from Warwick.
They're not, you know, they're not big chances. They're sort of just pop shots. Like you're taking a shot when there's 2 people probably that are able to save that ball. So I wouldn't really count them as opportunities at all. It was all just the lack of creativity, I think, upfield we saw from Rotterdam there. And in part that was, you know, present in the game against Sussex, but Sussex gave them the space because of their aggression. And that's what you don't get from playing against a team like Warwick. And it's going to be interesting to see how they develop going through this series, because maybe, you know, the answer is the demos. That's what they brought out a lot in game 2, was it, against Sussex, that opened up a lot of space?
Game 3, I believe. Game 3.
Oh, yeah, game 3, the one they won. Sorry.
But the point still stands. The demos opened up everything for Rotterdam in that game 3, and it will do the same against this Warwick side. I mean, I can't confirm it because Bournemouth, we didn't quite apply that pressure. But what Bournemouth we did right we were very patient. We waited. As soon as Warwick were sort of slightly awkward, slightly worried by what we were doing, that's when we would jump on them.
Oh,
Rotterdam need to do the same, but
They're
talking
being
about
jumped
demos, demos open up the pitch. He had about 10 minutes to score that Alice, as that comes through for the first goal of the game.
yeah. What's not helping Rotterdam right now is that they're playing in a way that they're set up in an inverted triangle almost, with one back in their half and then two forwards. But they're alternating that to try and essentially be quick onto every ball, believing and trusting in their teammate to at least get a 50 every time. But as soon as they have a hard loss, it causes that to break down ever so quickly, and that was what just happened right then. And once again, almost leads to another goal. That time would have been shut down by at least 2 players, but still nothing fruitful for them to start working off.
Talk about a hard loss being what breaks down a team. Let's be honest, we have 2 brilliant 1v1 players in Alice and Walden. Who's going to provide the best 50-50s in a game? A 1v1 player. They get it every single game. They practice it every single time they open that playlist. And these 2, if you want an expert in how to do 50-50, you open up the 1v1 playlist. Guess who's there? Walden and Alice.
Not only that though, but I can definitely say, just from playing a series of Uni 6-mans last night, I switched to the Batmobile, but that can wait a second. Wizards has just gone and found the top corner out of nowhere. Juicy, a nice layoff up to him, and he's coming off the wall. He trusted the pass, and that is a perfectly executed shot. There is no chance of saving that.
That's what I said earlier about finding Warwick, just the exact moment when they're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, when they're slightly out of position, when they have no one able to sort of give them that time. That's when you jump on that opportunity.
And I think that was more the shot coming from an unexpected setup. It was a really fast play, and you never really, I mean, especially when, you know, Warwick had pretty much just gained possession there, and Juicy was more looking like he was going up to just stop them going forwards, at least in their eyes. And then you've got Wizard coming off the sidewall, a place you never expect him, and that's what led to the goal. The unexpected play from Rotterdam. They need to start finding more of that.
We'll hear plays going through from Warwick, looking for the backboard. Hunting for mistakes from Rotterdam. Walden pushed it out to the middle, blocked out by Wizard. Out to the side, Juicy is blocked by Alice. One demo coming through, in fact a double demo coming through as Wizard and Gopher are put out of commission. Wizard, to the side, out into the middle. Walden, to the sidewall. Locked out, Alice. Can't find the touch, but Gopher is allowed to have the shot. That is played through, but we still have a tied game, Princey. Both teams are slow but surely sort of unable to find big opportunities until now, as Walden and Gopher almost linking up. 2 minutes to go and we still have a tied game. Alice! They're getting this off the crossbar, and again Walden's there, blocked out. Alice, his turn on possession. Juicy in a weird position. Walden can't find a 50-50. Rotterdam just about survive. One of the biggest moments of pressure we've had in this game so far.
This pressure is all coming from the reduction in speed from Rotterdam as they're starting to play Warwick style. And you don't want to play your opponent's style because that's what your opponents are used to. And I don't know how Rotterdam have managed to get away with that almost 40 seconds of pressure on their net, but they somehow survive it, and now, you know, maybe they'll feel a little bit better about themselves because of that. But they've got to change something again, because now, yeah, they're falling back into a safer playstyle, a slower playstyle, and that's allowing Warwick to push up, but that was almost really dangerous. Miscommunication from Gopher and Walden.
Getting in each other's ways, very dangerous, but Warwick seems to be used to this. backline defense. They're okay with making a few mistakes and having to drop back. They know what to do from there. What I'd say is, what Rotterdam need is getting that boost control over every single pad, every single 100 that is on the pitch. Start taking them. Because Warwick's playstyle is very boost dependent. You always want to be on the back line with boost, because that means you can defend anything. But if they don't have any boosts in their name, you can start truly breaking them down and finding opportunities as Juicy sends one around the side. Wizard trying to wait a moment. Here's a play from Warwick, blocked out by Maxio. Great play upfield, but it looks like we'll be looking at the first overtime of the series. Yes, we are.
I get the feeling this overtime might go on for a while because the way that Rotterdam have sat back, we wait, there's an open net right now. Okay, no, that maybe should have been a goal there, but unfortunately, no touch coming through from Rotterdam. Yeah, the way they've sat back is just allowing a very stalemate style game, in part. But you know, I think the way to really get to this Warwick team is unrelenting pressure. I mean, it's a very high risk strategy, but it's high reward, and as soon as you can start, as you said, stealing the boost, getting in their faces, you then get the speed and the time, and then by going up there you're getting the demos. But the way they're playing, it looks like Warwick still with all the offensive chances, and now they're the ones counter-attacking. As almost a huge 50 from Wizard.
One issue with that plan, Princey, we're in overtime. One goal is it. If you don't successfully start stealing boost, if 100 pad goes missing and they break out, that high risk strategy becomes a goal. When you're in overtime, that pressure starts building on, and do you really want to be going for high risk strategies when there might be some other plays? We saw it in the for their first goal of this game, their only goal of this game from Rotterdam, coming from a slightly unexpected passing play on the side of them to find their way into the net. Surely one of those could be what opens up the net for them and gets them this game too. Maxio losing out on the 50-50. Walden forward. Gopher using the flip a little bit too early. Just needs to stay with the boost rather than the flip. Alice taking it around the side. Can he find an extra touch? Can, but it's trying to get the ball in the net rather than into Gopher. Waiting in the middle. Alice once again can't find the right touch to keep it out to the side, but will find annoying little touches to get in the rail of Rotterdam's defense. Out to the side. Alice is there, pushing it forward. Walden can't connect with the pass. Gopher can't find his way to the ball as Walden off the backboard clears it away from. Tries to clear away from the center. Juicy will put it back in. Juicy causing havoc in the midfield. Looks like they're trying to shut things down there, but Juicy dropping back for boost means it just goes awry. Walden can't find the block. Gopher will move back. Trying to take control once again. Boost steals coming through. Juicy, the shot on target, blocked out by Alice. Wizard on the backboard, down the diagonal, blocks out another pass into the center. Walden sending it wide as no one from Rotterdam wanting to commit forward. And 3 minutes in, we are still not deciding who's the winner of this game 2-0.
No, I think I called it with the long overtime. But for a long period in this game, it seemed like it was only a matter of time until Warwick would find the inevitable goal, as they've just been slowly but surely taking more and more pop shots and chances. But nothing quite substantial yet. It's still missing just that little bit extra. And I think that's just because both teams are playing so safe now. Like, I know you said maybe they need to try the unexpected shot again. The problem with that is having someone sit even for half a second on a sidewall is still a high risk play, because you know you're entrusting 100% that your teammate's going to hit the ball, and not only hit the ball but hit it to you. And now we're on to 4 minutes, and it still looks no closer to getting a goal. Just as I say that, there's almost a big chance there. Shut down. few whiffs coming out, actually, catching out both teams.
Juicy has the ball on the back line, blocked out by Alice into the center. Gopher's there. Wizard clearing out the lines of Rotterdam. Walden blocked by Juicy. The 50-50 comes through. It wasn't an unexpected pass. It was an unexpected block that takes Rotterdam to victory.
It was an unexpected error from Walden. He did not want to drop that ball down to the middle for himself. And unfortunately for them, that 50 just ends up going flying into their own net. No one back in time for that one. And yeah, I don't know. It's a very tentative game, very cagey affair. There's been chances, but there's been no big chances. There's no big offensive plays. It's chess. This is a game of chess.
We've talked about the cagey affair sort of situation before, in fact, in our last series. And it was there that Rotterdam did actually start coming out a little, swinging just a little bit more. They seemed to gain that confidence just a little bit quicker. And that sort of, I guess, game sense in terms of interpreting every single move and realizing, right, they're being a bit cagey, we're being a bit cagey, but I feel like Rotterdam has just a little bit more stamina when it comes to that sort of situation, that little bit more focus. So as soon as sort of one mistake sort of happens, Rotterdam thinks, right, we're onto them now, we're getting to them. So that long overtime really played into Rotterdam's hand, because as soon as that sort of ticks over 3 minutes, Warwick started to get a little bit flustered, a little bit lazy maybe. And Walden there, we saw him at the end. That's not a mistake that Walden usually makes. That carry off the backboard, that's not something that we usually see. That drop down, and then all of a sudden Juicy's there. And there's the goal. We have a tied series between Rotterdam and Warwick. Anyone following for some Dutch University Rocket League news in one of our other brackets, Northern Lions Esports took down Javaskla. Sorry for our Finnish viewers for me butchering that name, but Northern Lions taking them down in a sweep. I believe that means they have qualified for the next stage of the competition after beating Oldenburg Avengers, the first EURC champions. Walden blast through Juicy. Big push up field from Warwick as they're going for demos. Gopher waits just a moment. Wins the 50-50. Wins yet another. Alice sends it straight up the backboard. Walden's not there to continue. Maxio continues the passing play from Juicy. Ball not put in the back of the net by Juicy off the backboard. Walden blocked out. Alice looking for Gopher. Won't be able to find it. This is where Rotterdam is starting to gain that confidence. Pushing forward a lot higher. Pushing forward a lot faster. Juicy on opportunity, just about missing. Huge pinch off Walden, and Maxio will find it straight into the orange half. But Princey, we've started once again, and all of a sudden, Rotterdam, they're looking confident.
Yeah, this is the high pressure I was talking about. There's been demos coming out for both teams, and just like that, after playing really a safe, cagey affair, Rotterdam have had enough. They're like, why are we playing their Rocket League? Why don't we make them play our Rocket League? Make them play, or make them feel scared because of how we play this game. And they've just been 100% pressure right now, and it's looking like it's really shaking up this Warwick team right now.
Wow, this one pushing it forward. Wizard has already read the play. Just coming off the post. Walden coming to the rescue. Juicy once again reading the sidewall. Alice pushing out to the side, but no one there to pass to. Will follow through with a charge forward. Juicy and Walden colliding as Walden will just about win that affair. Straight to the back line. Alice once again, a slight mistake on the touch, but Walden's there to help. This is good play from the Warwick team in terms of their defensive measures, always being there off a missed touch, always being there to help their teammate. It's a credit to them so far, but they need to put that teamwork, they need to put that covering straight on the offense if they want to have a chance. They still have a 1-0 deficit to overcome as Gopher's up, blocked out by Juicy. Alice there at the side, blocked out by Maxio. Walden pushing to the backboard. Wizard will clear it out. And 2 minutes about to be remaining in between these two teams in game 3, and Warwick looking a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah, the speed increase from Rotterdam is really catching them out right now. It's causing their usually quite sound rotations to always have 2 people back. They're not quite picked up the speed themselves yet, and it's stretching them thin. And that's why they're looking rather wobbly right now, that any bump like this gives a great opportunity through. They need to try and regain control of this, the ball and the speed of the play, as they looked a lot more comfortable before.
Alice's shot blocked out by Wizard. No equalizer off that opportunity. We're about to see 1 minute remaining. 60 seconds pop up on the screen as Gopher, his shot sent high, has another chance, but a little bit of trouble caused for Rotterdam, but that's all. Alice out of boost, and Juicy has the play. Can't fool Walden, he's too smart for that. He brings that forward. Wizard blocked out. Gopher to the side. Maxio pushing it back to the blue half. Walden again into the middle. These are good hits coming through from Warwick to keep it away from their half, but they have no one to send it to. That's been a little bit more of the difference. Rotterdam have the transition pace. They have the possession once they transition, but Warwick don't. They find the clearance out of their own half, but then that's it. They can't find anything more, as Rotterdam will look to be taking and closing down this extremely close game with a 1-0 scoreline. As Warden finds a clearance upfield, we're not done yet. Alice keeps it up. Maxio sends it out. Gopher's there. He sends it high. Rotterdam will just let it drop. And Rotterdam, they take game 3.
It's
Walden already thinks it's over. That's slightly upsetting for Warwick.
It's his teammates, yeah. Not even Alice is confused with that one. I'm not sure what's going on there. Aren't these guys in comms together?
I can check the Warwick Discord just to make sure. But yeah, they're in comms. They should be in comms. My goodness.
It's not gone well for Warwick since that overtime. Rotterdam really went out for blood, and although we saw like a really low percentage of opportunities on net, at least in terms of the statistics, it's in favor of Rotterdam, and Warwick only put 2 up the whole game. A lot of midfield battles, the speed. They were just struggling to be able to even get to the ball in the midfield to 50 it, let alone, you know, be able to build up their own attacks. And that just came with the fact that they lost the ability to play their own style because Rotterdam sped up. This game was all down to just the speed up play. What I was talking about at the start of the overtime in that game 2, I obviously didn't expect them to, you know, implement that then, because it's an overtime. It's a high risk environment that you don't want to add any more risk to it if you can help it. But now that, you know, they've started early, they're starting aggressive, and Maxio will give them that quick lead. A very aggressive kickoff here. Alice maybe caught out by a slight rubber band. I'm not too sure on that one, but just try to predict the ball.
When you're trying to follow that prediction, you have a 50-50 chance of it getting it right sometimes. Just there for Alice, it didn't work out. Alice sending it out to the side. No one there to pass to, but Walden there to follow up. Doesn't go for the challenge. Just leaves it back for Gopher, who's ready in position. Alice not going for the shot, going for the backboard. Good for dragging Juicy out of the play, but they really need to use their opportunities, put pressure on the net. Put something on target. Get Rotterdam just a little bit hot under the collar before you start trying to pull them out of net and get them nervous, frustrated. Walden trying to push it forward. Maxio's there. The ball is going wide. Gofu trying to use his time. Maxio denies that. Wizard trying to read through the smoke. Can't quite do it. Juicy has to play, taking it forward. The air dribble doesn't find the net, but the pinch might. Wizard is up, blocks it out. But this is a great moment for Alice. So he drops it down into the middle. Gofu's there, but...
Oh, no.
My goodness, I think he was just unsure because of the positioning of Rotterdam. Warwick once again have an opportunity, but they've just thrown the biggest chance of the game just away.
Walden and Gopher both left it for each other there. You could see Walden looking on the right. Almost gets that one to make up for the mistake. Gets another chance here. Still can't find it. There just seems to be a lack of coherency between the Warwick team pushing up. There's no offensive play. You sort of just hit the ball, hope, you know, that no one from Rotterdam gets on it. There's no deliberate passing. And that's hurting them because it just makes it so easy for Rotterdam to be able to read the play because they're not trying to find each other. They're just trying to beat them.
It seems like there's just no plan B. They've realized that their usual plan of heavy counter-attacking has just not working because Rotterdam have the mechanics. They have the patience to be able to counter that play style. And the plan B all of a sudden is just... it's not there for Warwick. They need to start thinking of something of how to start creating opportunities, start finding the net, but they just don't have that ability. So it drops back for Juicy, who sends it to Wizard. 2:29 to go, and that's the second goal for Rotterdam.
You almost feel like this goal just decides the tie because Warwick just don't look like they can score a goal right now. But it's those little things that Rotterdam are doing that Warwick really need to be doing back to them. Just, you know, maybe a few self setups. It's sort of just it feels a lot like it's see ball, hit ball, go again, kind of thing. No follow up touches, no sort of planning ahead.
It feels like the follow up touches always come from the person who makes the touch first. Rather than what you really want is your touch most likely be followed up by a touch by someone who's just a bit further upfield, either as a pass or maybe shutting down with a 50-50, and that just doesn't happen with Warwick. They've become too slow in the throughout this tie.
It's a shame though, because if they'd won that overtime, we could just be talking about the defense masterclass of this team. But you know, that a 4.5 minute overtime or 4 minutes, however long it was, that always hurts, and I think it's clearly got to these players a bit, which is unfortunate.
Essentially playing in what would be, in terms, if you add the overtime minutes we've had, this would be game 5. But at the moment we're only on game 4, 2-1 lead for Rotterdam. And I feel like Walden was saying something by saying GG's last game, even without even realizing it. It's Warwick. They seem to have been broken down and they can't find a way to fix things, to manage things. Let's go for sends it upfield, trying to get past Maxio, doesn't manage it. Walden turns, sending it to Gopher. Can't find the pass though. Alice, out to the side, off the diagonal. Wizard doesn't have the shot, does have the backboard touch. Warwick trying to push forward. Gopher blocked out, but again, Warwick being blocked out by not a defensive masterclass on their part, but a defensive masterclass on behalf of Rotterdam.
Yeah, they're starting to look for the passes now in the last 40 seconds, but it's just too late. Because they've not, you know, this almost seems like it's a new, I don't mean to sound, you know, like BM or rude, but it sort of seems like a new idea to them to play this different way, because it's not what they're used to. And I feel like they really should have tried to have just implemented it in this game 4 from the start. Sadly, Rotterdam, well, sadly if you're a Warwick fan, congratulations to Rotterdam, you've made it through to the next stage of the EURC is you win this game 4 and take the series 3-1.
Well, every single UK team in this bracket find themselves in the lower bracket, the losers bracket. Now, as Warwick join Brighton Babes in the upper side of things, where Warwick will either face the winners of, well, they'll face either Durham or UNIPD from Padua. And Brighton Babes, they wait for the winner of Sussex against Fair Play Groningen, but that will be decided another week. But the matches in terms of this group have been decided. Congratulations to Berlin Phoenix, who swept Brighton Babes to move on to the group stage. And of course here, Rotterdam defeating Warwick 3-1 as they move on. Superb performances, probably from both. We didn't manage to see Berlin Phoenix play, but knowing the players that they have available on that team, I'm sure it was quite a fireworks show in that match. But yeah. Rotterdam, great performance, great adaptive performance coming through from them. They sort of missed out in that game 1, but then they started to slowly get used to things. They started to adapt, and then slowly but surely they turned the entire series on its head. So well played to them as they move on in EURC.
Well played to them indeed. And as you were saying, their adaptive playstyle, we saw that throughout both series. They switched up against Sussex from going passive to aggressive to demo aggressive. And then in this one, they switched up 3 times. They tried, their sort of aggressive playstyle in game 1. It didn't work. They switched to a very passive playstyle to match Warwick's. They got through the long overtime, and then they went aggressive, and that just ruined Warwick. And well played, well adapted, well thought out. Because clearly you could see they're thinking about what they're doing. So overall, a great performance from them, and thoroughly deserved to be through to the next stage as one of the top seeds as well.
Well, a well-oiled Dutch machine beats out 2 top UK seeds. But that's all from Group A, of course. Now we move on to Group B. So rather than the Dutch facing off against the UK, we'll be having the Germans play against the UK, as next up on stream after the break, we'll have Kit facing off against Kiel. And we'll see you for that after this.
Go on, Marcel. I'm cold, steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said, don't suffer no fools. Serpent, daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. I'm gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Come to cold blood, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and it feels so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag, 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon.
The EURC marches on as we have 2 games left on our stream today for the first week of groups. RW Dragon, once again, like I said last series, we will not be moved, as Princey is still joining me.
I am indeed. I've not got anywhere either. So,
Despite your puns.
I hope you guys like us. I mean, yeah, these guys haven't heard all the puns. Like you watching at home, I've
Feel
made 2
fortunate.
enemies tonight.
Feel fortunate. But it's more about the enemies that 2 teams might make of each other right now, as Kiel will face off against Kit. Both of them first arguing over what color they will be in game. As Arno feels like he's claimed blue due to him liking his blue car. But more importantly for us, we want to decide, rather than who has the nicest car, who's the better team.
Who is the better team? This, I think on paper you've got to give it to Kit. They're overall a much, well, not much, but they're overall a stronger setup with a full 3 of 1800 plus. Pad's probably being their weakest player, but even so, you know, she's still up at 1700 at minimum. Whereas at Kiel, you probably say if you had to pick a weak link, I think everyone would agree with Satsuma there. Sadly for him, you know, he's not a bad player at all. He's still up a high, nice and high 1600 Grand Champ. So
It
nothing
always
against
feels
that,
weird, sort of talking about the weakest player in a squad, and yet also saying, yeah, they're just an 1800 Grand Champ. It's no big deal. It's they're top 0.1% of the game, but they're the weakest member of their team. As Kit, second place, runners up from the German split that has just passed, losing out to, of course, Berlin Phoenix. It's a closer affair in their own league play. And of course, Kiel, I believe, sitting in the National League right now, or veterans of the National League at least. I believe
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were 9th, 10th in the Challenger bracket last season.
Yes, mate,
Just
that was me.
just coming below the championship teams, and of course Brighton and Bournemouth, the Southern boys, in that Challenger final, that epic occasion. Can definitely confirm. But it's more about this occasion in the EURC as Matey brings it forward. Huge clearance. Poddy sends it back the opposite way, but Arno will read that nicely. He gets a second touch to try and confuse Satsuma. Doesn't quite do it as Satsuma's able to keep control. K3 sending it into the corner. Poddy up to the ceiling. In the back lines of the blue half at the moment as it's put into the center. Pads sending upfield. Matey with a brief flip goal. Perfect read. Matey makes it 1-0.
Just slight over-aggression there coming through. No one's back. I actually don't think I've seen Satsuma. There he is. I fully lost sight of him for a good 5 seconds on that play. Unfortunately for them, yeah, no one back in net for Kiel, and I think that's one thing from their play.
What?
That is their downfall, but yeah, I am with you. What happened here?
Okay, let's break this down. K3
Oh.
bumps and into the net.
He bumped the ball off Arno and bumped Arno into his own mate for the demo. K3, you just stabbed yourself in the back. I didn't realise that was possible in Rocket League, but you know.
Oh, now they're bumping into each other.
It's not started well for Kiel.
Pads bringing it forward, unable to verge much off it. Arno into the side. Pads looking it out. Satsuma out to the side, straight into Matey, and he'll make it 3.
This is
just over 2 minutes gone, and Kiel are being taken apart.
Yeah, this is scary for Kiel. They looked, for the first minute, they looked rather solid. And that open net is really just shaking them up. And then, I mean, the kickoff goal's unfortunate. However, you know, it goes in. It's a kickoff goal. You shouldn't really worry too much about that. But it seems like it might have got to them a bit. And now they're just about to concede another one. Not quite K3 with a last-ditch save there. But they've got to change something up quickly because they do not look comfortable.
You say kickoff goals that don't really affect you that much. You think, oh, that's just a kickoff goal.
They should. They shouldn't. If you could really think about it.
They shouldn't. But in terms of the process of that kickoff goal coming about, that is a 1 in a million thing to happen. Just that exact sequence of moments to come about, and all 3 of them have committed to that play, and Matey will just put it in. Satsuma almost making the save, but look, all 3 of Kiel up, and it's a simple read coming through from Kit. They take the lead.
They all went attacking the line as well. Yeah, that was. I think that one you probably have to put the blame on Satsuma. He was looking for the pass up the left, which you know is fair enough. But as soon as that ball doesn't come to him, he's really got to rotate behind. Because if you just keep going forwards more and more, you're undoubtedly, leaving the backfield empty, and that's exactly how they got capitalized upon. But this passing play coming through right now from Kit, almost brilliant.
Pads bumped out of the way. It's Poddy. Slowly bringing it forward, using space and time, trying to flick it past one, gets it past another, but there's no one in support in the center. Pads will make the clearance. Satsuma sending it high. Poddy, absolutely no boost to follow this up off Arno. K3 up the wall. Pads can't get the catch as it's dropped down. To the side, Pads keeps it going. Poddy into the middle. Blocked out to the side. Arno pushing it forward. K3 into the center again. Pads locked out by Satsuma on the line, but with a minute to go and 4 goals to make up. And also with Kiel struggling to make any opportunities that really looked dangerous. Maybe one at least looked to go that direction, but at the moment Kiel are being truly beaten by a better team.
Yeah, but what you would say is... Okay, never mind. I was about to say they've gone this long without conceding. You know, just prove me wrong before I even get to say my point. Cheers, Pads, for that one. But I was about to say, you know, they might have a little bit of respite going into Game 2, thinking, right, guys, you know, we've stopped the flow of it. But they haven't. Maybe, I don't know, it just doesn't look good if you're a Kiel supporter, a Kiel fan. I've got to say, I'm hurting slightly because I was hoping for a slightly better performance from this. And if anyone is unsure as to why, I am the ex-Kiel Rocket League captain and the founder of the Rocket League Kiel community. So there's your reason for that.
Well, as much as this is heartbreaking for you, not so much for me. Wilbur has told me that Kiel have tried to ego us in the past, and that was before we beat them in the first qualifier. So it's something that is slightly satisfying about watching that, but also not really. I'm here to also watch some great Rocket League, and at the moment, you want to see something on an even playing field. You want to see something that is back and forth and truly both teams getting an opportunity. But that's 4 shots going up against
14.
14. Just cast the maths, don't worry. You'll get used to it. 14 to 4. 10 shot difference.
9 saves for Kiel as well. Not looking
That's where the
good.
10 shots went. That's the 10 shot difference right there. It's pretty much saves, but it wasn't really back and forth. There was about 2 chances out of those 4 shots that looked like they could have gone in, like they threatened Kit just a bit, but the rest of it was just Kit dominating. And there's not really much that I can really put forward for Kiel. They just got destroyed in this game.
Yeah, but you've got to remember this is only game 1, so they've got time to figure it out. The problem I have is Kiel play their best when you have K3 charging down the offense. He was the man who made the most saves in that game. You got him on the wrong side of the pitch because of how Kit came out with their own aggression. So it's really down to Kiel, I think, just trying to hold up the play slightly in the midfield and just shut down the lanes first that Kit have been abusing before, starting to try and make the plays themselves. The demo plays, they looked good. They were just tried to go all out too quickly. And I almost another great example of it there, but K3 luckily...
That occasion, it just looked like Satsuma was going for a pass that didn't exist. There's no one transitioning out on the defense, so who you're really passing to, you're just giving it away to opponents or putting in a position where teammates can't really get. And at the moment, that seems to be the case pretty much this entire game. Everything's just a little bit awkward for Kiel, and everything's to the advantage of Kit. It's Kiel looking to maintain possession in this blue half. Matey pushing it away from a member of Kiel, flying past Satsuma, pushing it down the side. Pads is there, sends it high for a teammate though, and Matey's there, putting it on net. Once again, Kiel just caught on the back foot once again, and in very odd positions, both Podding and K3 rotating into the back of the net to try and make a stop.
Yeah, no one defending the backboard. That was huge. And even at the end there, Satsuma's third man elected to try go down low rather than, just trusting his 2 mates in net. There's a lot of issues right now, it looks like, with that one straight through as well. Even more problems. Satsuma, not the best touch. Maybe trying to lay it off for a mate, but they're not trusting each other to make the hits. They're not positioning themselves for the passes to occur. So the passes, it seems like there's a lack of passes coming out between each other as well. But they're just not gelling. It looks like you've just thrown 3 random individuals on the pitch for the first time in a game of solo standard.
And the odd thing is, sometimes you have those odd teams in solo standard that actually pop off together. So, there is something extremely disjointed about this Kiel team at the moment. And I hate casting this way. I hate casting as, there's nothing positive. But at the moment, I struggle to pit things out. There's a few moments of good car control, some good ball control. Satsuma's been good at actually using the space that he's got to try and move forward, keeping it close to himself. Satsuma, we started talking about him as possible weak link, but actually, at the moment on defense, he's kind of been one of the players holding it together, trying to use time, trying to put together the passes. And there, adding an extra touch to it to make sure it's moved upfield as K3 gets a demo, but Arnos just has enough space to move it forward. Kiel now starting to put something together here. A few demos coming through. A few passes almost being linked up. It's very slowly getting there. As Satsuma gets a shot on target, easy for Pads to save. No one really following through. As the next touch comes through from Kit. Satsuma coming through. Has a pass there. Here's Kiel coming through. Poddy, the shot on target. Matey is back in time to make the save. But like I said, Kiel starting to look a little bit more positive now.
They just can't overdo it, as that one almost ends up in their goal. But no, they definitely look like they've shaken off those first maybe 7 minutes. Never mind, I've spoken too soon again. I'm not sure what goes on here. Satsuma tries to lay it off back to K3, but he finds himself awkward going up the back wall. Probably not the right thing to go for.
Inner coach Dragon is starting to come out, because I've seen a lot of teams make that mistake, and I've told the Exilium lads, you know, you can counter this. Look, there's an entire open net, or I've seen them make the same mistakes, and told them to fix it. And I'm just seeing exactly the same things come through from Kiel, making similar mistakes, but it happens consistently.
Do Kiel need to sign Coach Dragon?
See,
would you do it?
I wouldn't. I was brought on board by Exilium to sort of be a counterbalance to them, sort of keep them grounded, making sure they can point out their mistakes. I feel like they need someone from maybe a Kiel B team or maybe a Princey to come in and just ground them and tell them, listen, you've got a lot of flaws, let me help. This is your calling, Princey. This is your calling.
I've offered previously. They laughed me down, but it's not looking good for them right now, so who knows. But yeah, Pads sends that one home, 4-0. Kiel just all over the place in the backboard. Big demos from Arno as well, but it's just they had the chances to clear that one away. And it always seems like instead of electing just to play it at least to the corners, to the safe spots, they're struggling and just it's falling back into the midfield, back in front of the net, and that's the last place you want that ball.
Kiel, they've looked admittedly a little bit more positive this game, at least in terms of generating a few more chances that look deadly, but at the moment the mistakes are still happening. They've looked more positive to their credit in terms of getting upfield and getting better chances, but the defense is suffering slightly as they try to transition out. The touches are just not coming through at all.
I mean, if you seem to lose the trust with each other, you'd think at least, you know, rotate back. But we saw then Satsuma jump up for something he was going to be nowhere near, and Poddy ran off for mid boost, leaving K3 all by himself to, at best, you know, if he actually got the touch, probably end up only getting a 50. Almost get a goal there, maybe a slight consolation. That would really help their situation if they can find something. But they've just not had the opportunities, and these nice little quick 1-2s are coming through as well.
It's gonna drop in.
This little boomer could be the spark that they need. Just catch out Matey at the back.
Just about denying the perfect
as well,
sweep.
I think
Just about denying the perfect sweep as well.
Well, this is only game 2, so you know there's still one more game at least. But hopefully for Kiel, they use that goal as a basis. They realize, wait, you know, maybe we can use boomers, because I think that's the first big clear out the back that they've actually had uncontested as well.
I'm going to stop you with the positive right there. The last second, I just saw 2 of them fly past the ball as I think it was Matey start trying to take control of the ball. Kiel, we said it throughout the 2 games so far. They look disjointed. They look out of sync. Something is very wrong with this Kiel team at the moment, and I would be worried for them. but they have this minute. They have this time. Take a
They
deep
need to
breath.
talk. It just looks like they're
Exactly.
not communicating.
Exactly. They have mistakes. They have very obvious mistakes. And the great thing about obvious mistakes is that each of you can just sort of go, right, you're doing this wrong, but I'm not helping you out because I'm not, say, I know you missed that ball, but technically I should have rotated back around you to make sure you had that support. I should have been there already, so if you did miss it, I was there. If the lack of trust isn't there for Kiel, then they should realize, right, I don't fully trust you with this, but I know how to play when I don't fully trust someone, which is support them. Don't just leave them to it. Don't just leave them to the wolves. Make sure they have the support when they start trying to come forward again. Kiel need to stand up once again. They have the quality, and they know in their hearts they have the quality to stand up against Kit.
Yeah, the problem there, though, I think, is you're really looking for someone who's got a really strong head on their shoulders after just conceding 10 goals and only scoring 1 the other way. And we know with a lot of people in Rocket League, that's not something you find too much, is a strong leader in that sense. And off the top of my head, I don't think I could pick one of these three to be that guy for Kiel, sadly enough. Because I know K3 is very emotional when he gets into it. Poddy, from what I heard after their failings in the first qualifier for EURC as well, became very emotionally involved in that reverse sweep against them. So, I mean, Satsuma is probably not going to want to say much as the lowest player on the team, and isn't that kind of guy as well. If they can work together as a collective, you know, to talk, as we see the first minute, you know, first minutes come through well, they have a chance here. Can't
They're
get
on the front foot. This is the first time in this series we've seen them solidly on the front foot. Just about. I'm liking the start I'm seeing.
Oh, we spoke too soon.
That isn't there.
We spoke too soon.
I'm liking the start I'm seeing. They are still trying to they're now starting to properly try and link up. That pass down, although it wasn't in front of K3 like he would have wanted, it was still the chance to pass. They had the space to, so they attempted it. It didn't come off. They got a goal against them. But they need to have that strong head, like you said, to realize, right, we're now starting to do the right things. Let's keep going. Let's find that path. That lower bracket still exists.
You just gotta hope that that goal doesn't just throw them off all the good work that they've done. Because that's what something like that can happen, you know. It was still a mistake that cost them.
Well, here we go,
But it's the kind of plays that can lead to something like this. More opportunities actually breaking through the defense.
Looks like confidence is starting to arise in Kiel. Little moments, little sparks are coming forward as K3 has a draw play over one. The net is open and K3 equalizes. This game 3 is starting to look a lot more positive for Kiel.
And now you've got to be thinking... Well, I don't think you'd be too worried yet if you're a Kit player. Because, you know, you've not seen too much of this Kiel team come at you. But if they can continue building these offenses and get more individual plays, as we just saw from K3, then, you know, you might start getting those doubts in the back of your head. I just think still at this scoreline with this much time, they'll be thinking as a Kit player, yeah, we've got this still, we can see this out. Kiel need another goal. There's a good chance.
Satsuma can't provide. What about K3? He can! 2-1 lead going through for Kiel. It's all the way back to all the way upfield. Satsuma misses out. Pads is completely fooled by Satsuma's miss. Yes, those can happen, Pads. I mean, she hasn't really been missing the entire game. She's been very solid for the Kit team.
Oh, that's a big miss from Satsuma. Gets away
Just
with
about
that.
works out in the end. Pads coming through, getting the block, trying to push it towards the center. Arno taking control of the diagonal. K3 out to the side. Poddy getting in the way of Matey. Matey trying to push it back to Arno. K3 getting in the way. This is good stuff from Kiel. They're starting to get in the way of their Kit plays.
They're starting to widen their rotations as well. It seems like they're
So there was a little bit more space in between each other.
They're not ending up clogged on the pitch.
Exactly. It's much better play to just widen everything out, give each other space. That means that one ball, one shot is not going to beat everyone. As we see there, that one pass beat almost two, I'd say. But someone in the middle, I believe it was Poddy, there to clear it out. Pads taking around the side of the diagonal, out to the center. Matey towards net, the demo on the back line by Pads. Doesn't quite earn a goal yet, but it does provide some pressure. As we enter the last minute 30 with Kiel with a 1-goal advantage. Arno putting pressure on Satsuma. Doesn't find the correct clearance as Matey's shot just hits the post. Pads is there. The equalizer is there. 1 minute 18 to go. Kiel and Kit locked in a tie.
Yeah, it's a good idea on the play shot from Matey to chuck it down the other end, away from where K3 is going. I was sat on K3's camera. I'm not sure about the actual stream, but he had no boost either, so he couldn't afford to wait on the back post. And unfortunately for them, Pads came through with a nice finish to the other corner as well after it bounced back off the post. Now we need even more mental strength, mental fortitude from this Kiel team. As they've got to come back to the lead, but now they've got to do it from being behind. As
Here's one of those plays where you just have to say, why on earth were you there? Why did you have a person there? But at the same time, if they're there, just use them. That's what Kit does as they find a delightful angle. 3-2 in the lead now. The mental fortitude, like you say, has come in play for Kiel. Pads on the back line, pushing it forward. Taking it into a dribble. Can't get it around Poddy, but Arno's able to follow through in support. Satsuma dropping back. Matey blocks it out. Pads coming through again. Drops to K3. Can't find a push round, but the demo was there. The bump play was there. K3 into the middle. Satsuma's so far back. No one there. It was a great idea, but Satsuma's still trying to cover the back lines. And Arno finds the possible nail in the coffin with 20 seconds to go as we stare down the barrel of a sweep.
Yeah, this looks like the nail in the coffin for Kiel. It's unfortunate because they showed what they were capable of here in this Game 3. They seem to wake up and finally find the form that brought them to this group stage. But it's just too little too late. And for their sakes, they'd hope not to concede another, but they are going to. Nice passing play from Kit to finish it off even more. I mean, I already said nail in the coffin. What have we got next? It's been lowered
sarcophagus.
It's been lowered into the ground. The dirt's being piled on top. And Kiel will drop down to the lowers as we see Kit win this game rather comfortably.
Well, good news for Kiel is that the lower bracket will not be done today, so this bad form will not be able to carry over to a lower bracket matchup. So they're not completely out of EURC 2020 yet, but the team marching on will be Kit as they move on to the next round. They'll be facing off against Salford Lions in a UK number 3 seed, as Salford came third in the last split of NSE, and Kit number 2 in Germany. So that is quite a matchup in the next round. That will actually be on stream over at Theorist of Wind, I believe. I can't see the full Twitch name, but he'll be covering it over there. So that'll be an entertaining one if you decide not to join us. But we'll be having a slightly longer break possibly for a round 4 match, as it hasn't been confirmed yet. But when it does, we'll be back here on the Rocket Kingdom channel for that, for the last game of the day. We'll see you then.
We fear that life not in your heart, but in your mind. Are we playing this game? Are we playing this game? Are you too afraid, or are you giving in? Let the games begin, 'cause I play to win.
Our last game of the day is an all-UK affair. Portsmouth Paladins facing off against Newcastle Octanes, two grand finalists from the past few seasons of NSC, facing off for a place in the last 16 of EURC. RW Dragon, of course, myself, and I am joined by Princey still for the last game of the day. Princey, we've both seen these teams. I've had the pleasure of playing against both these teams at their current stage of development. But you as a caster, you as a caster, you've had the privilege of seeing them from an outside perspective a little bit more than I have in terms of this viewpoint. So tell us a little bit about this matchup, why don't you?
Well, if I start with the current NSE champions, Portsmouth.
Good place.
Last season, they had almost perfect rotations, you would say. They barely looked like they struggled with each other, and it really just helped to form the what's it, not the isosceles triangle, but the other one where you've all got the 60-degree angle rotating through that
Equilateral.
Yeah,
or
that's
equilibrium or something like that.
The equilateral one, yeah. So they all knew where they had to be. However, starting off this semester, I don't know if that's just the pressure of being top seed, but they've struggled. And for some part, they've actually looked probably better having their sub in over Esper at times. But I've only seen that of 1 week, and they were obviously up against tough opposition. Newcastle, on the other hand, they finished 6th as one of the players has just left the lobby. Interesting. But they didn't look too hot for the most part last semester, and they had teething issues getting Daxru to fit with Jeff and Raffro. I saw them play against Salford for top seed in the north, and Salford took a pretty convincing 3-1, I think it was, where there weren't too many plays, but then again, Salford just sort of sit back and wait on your mistakes. So it's a hard one to judge, because they're a really tough team to break down as Salford, and that's why they got top seed in the north. But Newcastle, coming near the top themselves, I think they might have ended 3rd in seeding, is still really strong, much better than they showed the first semester. So I expect a lot more from them in a very close series.
This is going to be very close. As one of Newcastle's most recent opponents last week in NSC, it was first game of the day. They start very slow, and that might have been just first game of the day sort of an issue. We did sort of say at the time that these guys are a bit slow, but maybe that's just where we are in the day. So it's very hard to predict. We've already had one series of the day, Bath Salts, in terms of the Portsmouth side being swept, and an equal result being done by Newcastle Octanes. So they swept TU Dublin Apes in their matchup. Let's see how Newcastle play now. We've done with the first game of the day. At the moment, once again, reasonably slow as Psycho finds the top shelf of the first chance of the game.
Yeah, Psycho is one man who's going to be wanting to make up for what he believed was a poor performance on Friday against the teams from North America, as we saw Salford drop down 3-1. Can't remember who their opponents were, but they lost 3-1 in that, and there was a big overtime mistake in that game 4 where Psycho went up for a ball he was always second favorite to, and he really took it out on himself in the Discord chat after. So I expect blood from this man, as he definitely tries to make up for his errors in this tournament here.
Psycho at the moment, he's already started well. Goal of the year winner. The delightful double redirect. Starting off with a banger to the top shelf to get Portsmouth ahead. It's Esper pushing it forward towards an open net. Magic should be there.
Just realised Esper's in an Esper. This is the first time I've ever seen Esper playing an Esper. The man's vibing.
Not only that, he's decorated it quite nicely. Look at that.
It is bright, that is for sure.
Hat. A police hat and a panda antenna.
I've got to say though, it sounds horrible. I have no idea what engine sound there. Oh, sorry, the boost sound actually. That's one of the old rewards. Is Psycho. Can't quite put that one home. That was really close to going into the top corner. But he's taking the Flakes vibe. Doesn't matter what car you're in, you're still the same player.
Double commit coming through
fair play
from
to him.
Portsmouth. Newcastle able to push upfield. Magic. Locked out in the side is Psycho. Pushing it forward with Geordie. Jeff winning out on that 50-50 is Refro going up. Psycho needs to get there first. As he does, sends it out to the side. Jeff is there. Taking control into the middle. Psycho. Will let the ball continue its journey out to the side. Magic up. Dropping down to the middle. And that was a very odd situation. Esper in an odd way. And Jeff unsure how to continue as he fakes out Geordie. Refro. Faked out there. Magic dropped. Whereas he would normally be known, Dexeru.
Yeah, he was originally known as Magix, but it's Magic who plays
BCU.
BCU, yeah. So he renamed himself to Daxaru, but he's plugging his Twitch right now, so he's back to his original name. But no, we know him as Daxaru. So probably should still call him by that.
Into the middle, Rafro up in the air. We know he's capable of some amazing plays himself. Dexeru trying to come through and add an unexpected spice to that shot. Sends one slightly towards net. Geordie trying to continue it. Pinch upfield. Rafro needs to be called to defense. Sends it off the wall. Geordie to the backboard. Second touch. Drops it down. No one there to finish it off. But still 1-goal lead for Portsmouth. 140 left to tick down as Geordie sends it off the sidewall. Esper's there. Continues to push forward. Gets a bump on Jeff as well as Geordie has the space to move it forward. Dexeru. Clearance outfield. Esper looking to control, but slightly messy there. Psycho needs to help with the cleanup. To the wall. Geordie's there. Clearance up from Jeff. Pushed forward by Magix. Psycho. It's on the sidewall, but Geordie's there to continue. Rafro to the side.
Really cagey affair right now, isn't it? There's not really,
It really is
going on. The teams are just happy smacking the ball at each other.
This only seems to be benefiting Portsmouth as well. Just hit it back and forth. No chances really coming off it. This is what Portsmouth will dream of with a 1-goal lead.
They've looked a bit wobbly at the back though a few times. Just then,
And
Geordie, and Geordie no boost, just hops.
Esper.
Luckily gets his car in the way. They don't look like the well-oiled machine that I remember of them from last season. The team that went 5 weeks unbeaten out of the 6. And I mean, they already got beaten to top seed in the South by UWE. But they did finish last week the full 10. Although that was with their sub.
I believe they had Kent in that last match who had an unbelievable week. Or was it Kent versus Nottingham Trent? I can't fully remember, but they'll take this first game. A 1-goal win. And then transitioned straight into a back and forth affair. Portsmouth will take that any way they can as Esper dropping to the bottom of the leaderboard, but he won't mind. So he's got 2 very good carries above him.
Yeah, Newcastle, a lot of shots. And as I said before, we saw a bit of awkwardness coming out from Portsmouth defence. A few double commits at the back, but nothing substantial. The game just really sort of played in the midfield where they were like hitting the ball to each other. It was really what's the word? Respectful from both teams. They didn't want to force anything. I expect we see a change up, or I at least hope so in this game too, and we get a much more open game. Because we know what some of these players on both teams can do. Yet we haven't seen any of that yet.
Well, if anything's going to change up, I feel it's going to come from Newcastle. I mean, after playing them recently. I know they have this plan B. I won't say what it is now, just in case someone's cheekily whispering any of the ears of Portsmouth. But they do have a change-up available.
Can I just say, all right then, keep your secrets, because I don't know what this change-up is, so I'm as much in the dark as any Portsmouth fans are. That one close from Daxru, couldn't quite get the double tap.
I am curious though. Tylacto from Lancaster's sort of grabbing all stats and all replays, so all the replays from every team are gonna be available. So I'm gonna wonder which team are gonna start properly using it first to dissect their opponent, and it's especially important with this sort of matchup. All UK, possible top seeds. As Esper comes through, finishing off a shot.
Nicely played from Psycho. Elects not to just try and take the shot on net, but smack it home off the side. Keep the play going, because if he goes for the shot, it's just a 50, and then the next player on that is most likely someone from Newcastle. And then a nice shot from Esper coming through quickly. Nice speed. And once again, Portsmouth, an early goal. Now we will see if they just decide to sit off again. Geordie almost got a second one.
Can't sit off just yet. They have Newcastle a little bit flustered. It's Raffro gets a long clearance to try and get some boost back. Reconvene, reassess the situation. We've allowed it to drop a little bit too deep though. Psycho able to move forward. Geordie getting in the way. Play moves out. Geordie missing on the line. Raffro dodges one. Duxero, the shot onto the post. Jeff, the shot high onto the crossbar. No conversion from Newcastle. Not even rugby that would be called a conversion. Hink coming straight off the crossbar. Geordie coming forward. Looking for a flick. Blocked out by Jeff. Esper out to the side. Doink into the center. No one's there. Jeff now. Very patient on the dribble.
That's
Great work from him, but he allows Geordie to get back in time, and Newcastle starting to generate some great opportunities. They just need to convert one, but at the moment they leave their back lines open. Psycho converts. 2-goal lead Portsmouth.
Chose to sit off at the wrong time here. Daxru probably going for a challenge. He should just elect to fake and allow his teammates the time to get back. But I like what I'm seeing now. This game has opened up a lot, and there were some big chances from both teams on both ends. And unfortunately for Newcastle, it was Portsmouth to get it and now get a little bit of comfort in a 2-goal lead. Make that 3. A lovely flick from Psycho off the kickoff with no boost. Does not matter. He'll just catch. The control from the man is perfect.
As soon as I saw the bump from Raffro coming through to get rid of Esper, I thought, all right, that's it for Portsmouth. I can't really challenge this without boost. But Psycho decides, you know what? I don't need boost. I'm good.
Interesting kickoff technique there as well from Dax, who just elected not to go. Almost cost them a 4th.
I mean, it has given them the possession, so something's gone at least somewhat right with the kickoff as they almost earn themselves the goal off the play. Geordie Unknown taking it forward slowly. Newcastle giving him the space though. A problem starting to arise. A lot of respect being paid to Portsmouth by this Newcastle team, despite the fact that Portsmouth, when they do move forward sometimes, they have very low boost in their tanks. Esper bringing it forward. Can't get a bump on 1, can't get a bump on 2. But it does start making Newcastle think about bump plays. Jeff finding a clearance, but no one to connect to other than Geordie. Jeff bumps Geordie out of the play. Raffro will continue it. Esper blocks that out. Dexeru in the play. Sent across. Psycho. Back, but a miscue. Raffro demoed by Esper. Esper to the absolute rescue, and Psycho, that is quite the interesting choice. That's not quite the clearance he wanted.
Now the whoops comes out from Geordie, and
that's a blue trail.
Is a blue trail. It started with Psycho and Geordie mixing up, and it ends with Psycho sticking it into his own goal. And that's actually Newcastle's first goal of the series as well.
Oh, but here comes the second.
This is what you don't want. You've given them that little bit of what was
It's not
just-
really hope. We have 141
No.
left.
No, I wouldn't even say hope. It's just, the little bit of like, oh, we can get at these guys. They're prone to a mistake, and a huge one at that. And just like it, they make it do. But
You know how we talked about that 1 in a million circumstances in
we've seen a lot. I mean, there's something I've noticed a lot this season in NSE as well. There are so many kickoff goals. It was a big thing for your Exilium team at Epicland too. You guys were very good at winning the kickoff when the other team were trying to lose it. But yeah, kickoff goals are actually becoming so big in threes at this level, and I don't know why. Learn to kick off, guys. It's a vital component.
Just play some ones for a bit. Just play like it doesn't matter about your rank. Just get the kickoff. Just win a few kickoffs. We talked about the 1 in a million circumstances that led to a kick goal against Kiel earlier. I feel like this game we've seen every single ordinary circumstance that you get a kickoff goal. Just sort of one big 50 in the middle and then the dribble forward and a flick. The one that goes off to the side and you correctly predict which way so you get possession.
Sadly for Newcastle, though, this has mainly been against them. And they find themselves 2 goals down, only 45 to go. And with a loss in this one, that puts them 2 down in the series, then needing the reverse sweep. And you can't really say that their chances have been great, because one was a huge own goal, and the other was a kickoff goal, and you can't rely on those to win you a game.
There was that passage of missed, almost open nets. They had Portsmouth in a lot of uncomfortable situations. They just hit the crossbar, the post, made easy saves for Portsmouth. They've generated opportunities, but they haven't found that critical touch when they have generated them. Dexero comes forward. Dribble play doesn't find a way through. Esper blocks it out. That'll be it for this game. Esper looking for a drop-down goal. Psycho goes to the floor. Portsmouth 2-0 up. And Newcastle well and truly on the back foot.
And Portsmouth, even for their mistakes that game, they still look so comfortable. There just seems to be no cohesion with Newcastle going forwards. They look okay at the back, bar a few mistakes. And they can get the ball into the midfield, but they've got minimum going forwards. I mean, we see 5 shots from Magix, but they only made 4 saves. Well, they only made Portsmouth have to make 4 saves out of the 9 shots that they had. So it's not that they're okay, but it's like it's just missing something. I just feel like there's more from Newcastle that we need to see still.
Well, there is the plan B that I talked about at the start of this game.
I think it's fair to drop that now. They've got 5 minutes. If they don't implement that, they're probably losing.
They started to put it in. This plan B is a little bit more ball chasey, a little bit more aggressive. And when they suddenly switch it on, you sort of go, where did this come from? So there's a little bit of an element of surprise coming in when they bring that in. And I feel like I can spoil that, considering there's a load of replays out there of them doing it. So,
well, I know that's where Daxter plays his best Rocket League, where he doesn't even have to think about what he's doing, just to cut out the hesitation.
So maybe that's what Newcastle needs to do. Just start attacking at the source of every pass, every dribble. Get aggressive. At the moment, they are stepping off a little bit still. Psycho has a shot, but Refro almost could have left that, but he decides to send it in an awkward position. Xeri and Refro getting in each other's way a little bit. Chef doing enough on defense. Touch out of the way, Dexero. Can't get that with his 0 boost. Jeff, forward. Out to the midfield. Esper is there, looking for the backboard. He's going to find it. Psycho drops it down. Esper's there. That's a beauty coming together for Portsmouth to get the first goal of the game.
And this shows how comfortable these players for Portsmouth are right now. Normally, you don't want one of your guys to be near enough to the backboard to even, go up and attempt something like that. Because if it goes wrong, that man, after jumping off the back wall and having to backflip to make the play, is going to be falling for a good couple seconds. Probably then has no boost. So, you know, it's really dangerous. It's very high risk, but very high reward. And with that whiff coming out from Jeff, there you get a further reward, making it 2-0, just under a minute played.
Comfortable lead coming together for Portsmouth. One a well-worked passing play, the other just goal, a whiff on the back line leading to a goal. Geordie unknown. Off the sidewall though, trying to find a central pass. Jeff will get in the way. Psycho lets it run for an awfully long time. They're able to attack from the back, going for a trigger play, looking for the bump, but Dexera has time to get back, but Esper also has time to get forward. Portsmouth make it 3.
It's well played from Psycho, bumps out Rafa, but Daxu panics. I don't think he realizes he has a bit more time there and just thinks, I have to hit this ball as soon as possible. But unfortunately for him, Esper's like, this ball's coming to me. They're both on that side of the ball. They have to hit it to me, if not it's rolling into their net anyway. Really good positioning from him. Geordie's coming off the ceiling now. They're pre-jumping everything.
Jeff,
this
pass is diving in Esper.
It's rubbing it in if you're a Newcastle fan or player right now. It's BM that already with 3.5 minutes to go to start going for these plays. Can't be feeling good.
Refro can't take it past one. Esper pushing out field and forward. It's the diagonal. Can't find the net off the first chance. Geordie tries to drop it in. Can't. Double whiff. It's Jeff pushing it forward. Blocked out in the midfield by Psycho into the middle. Geordie's blocked out by Daxeru. That's a wonderful save. Esper there into the net.
Oh no.
I think a fake from Geordie coming through and being just effective enough on Jeff to force him to wait. Look, there it is. Just about the hesitation forced by Geordie coming through, and a 4th goal going in. 3 minutes to go in the possible final game of this series.
Newcastle lost their composure. He's fully gone out the window right now. They just look like they're charging down. Like you said, there was their secret weapon to charge down. They're doing it from the back, but they're not doing it in sort of one at a time. They're all doing it in unison, so they're all burning so much boost and finding themselves out of position way too early. I mean, you never want to find yourself out of position, but it's just not quite working. However, this is maybe starting to look a bit better, but
self-admitted as well, Portsmouth have a higher quality of player. Like, I mean, you can argue Psycho and Wilbur are sort of the same sort of style. You know, high-ranked player with 2 slightly lower-ranked players, but let's be honest, the slightly lower-ranked players on Portsmouth are 2 1900s. Well, Esper's hit 1900. Geordie, I think, has been there a few times as well.
Geordie's still sat around 1750, 1800, but he can definitely play up at that level. There's no doubt about that.
Exactly.
That was a banging shot.
Whereas myself and Voiler or myself and Gamble, we're still hitting around 1600, still spending our time around there. So the quality of player on Portsmouth to try and attempt this ball chasing, more aggressive style of play and sometimes not work, is suddenly it's found on the other side of the pitch.
They've got one. They've got a minute and a half. It is possible. Psycho, again, getting too confident. That's pretty much an own goal from Psycho. I'm not too sure what he's going for there.
I think it was a pre-jump
Inventive
shot.
back pass, yeah.
I think he's trying to get a little freestyle going with one of his teammates, but
If they get too comfortable, though, it's going to allow Newcastle back in. You know, maybe just get their hopes up a little bit that they can catch them sleeping. We'll have to wait and see, because minute 15, it's a tough ask.
drop down. Dexera will be dropping back, allowing Psycho to move forward. So having control to Esper, blocked by Raffro. Great save from him. Drops it into the center, blocked out. Out wide to the corner, Jeff. Blocks out one. Esper. Famil. Psycho pushing it forward. Jeff. Taking it round. Jeff. Center. What a flick. What a shot.
What a power hit from Jeff. Gets the time given to him in the middle as Geordie and Esper are both backing. And he makes full use of that, slamming it home off the backboard. 42 seconds. This is definitely possible from Newcastle. I think Portsmouth have to realise that now they've just got to shut up shop. Stop going for these fancy plays. Just because they're on stream, they want to make a highlight shot. It's not worth it now. Because if you throw this first game, the doubt settles. They get the momentum. And then, you know, you're facing a really uphill... Oh, you're not really facing the uphill battle because you're still in the lead, but it's all against you. That was a big save from Psycho.
Remember, lads, there's no monster plays of the week for EURC. It's only NSC, the boys. Like I said, just last few seconds, just relax, calm down. Let the clock tick down, let the sweep come rolling in. Portsmouth, they take down at Newcastle. 3-0 with a lasting reminder of 4-2 in this game 3. It's Refro, it's time to keep it up as much as they can. Look at them go. They're
doing well.
My scoreline wrong. They made my scoreline wrong. Great stuff.
You said
gentlemen.
it too early.
Great stuff, gentlemen. That is rule 1 used at its finest. Don't let it touch the floor unless you plan on scoring it like Jeff here. Congratulations, Portsmouth. They move on to the last 16. Newcastle, they will have a lower bracket to make, in fact, I believe 1 win to get through to the same stage as one of the lower seeds in the competition.
Yeah, just they didn't look like they had anything tonight to beat Portsmouth. Portsmouth looked so solid. Maybe back to the good old days of last season. Back when Geordie and Esper were only 1600s at the start of it all. They've come a long way since then, and it's starting to finally gel once more as, you know, maybe the difference in their playstyles, how they've improved, has just thrown them off balance slightly. But, you know, once they get back to it, as we're seeing, they'll be stronger than ever. And it's scary because, yeah, Newcastle were 2nd or 3rd seed in the north. Portsmouth got beat to 1st seed south, and they've just thrown on a hugely dominant display there.
Well, I mean, after the few seasons of northern dominance in the first year of NSC, suddenly the south are rising up, I would say, quite nicely with Portsmouth coming through, Sussex looking strong in NSC. But that is all tomorrow. Let's consider more about stuff going on now. I mean, I've got the rest of this group on my screen to my right. Salford Lions taking on Kit. I don't believe we have an update on the score for that unless I open Theorist's stream. But let's check. I'm going to check out a few of these games if you want to.
Just have a look, see what's going on.
I can't open up his stream.
Group D so far we've got Doran's Nijmegen. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I actually have. I'm guessing they're a Dutch side.
Thank you, our producer. He's updated us. Salford losing 3-0 in the sweep, so Kit will move on.
Ooh.
And
Ouch.
Salford will be in the lower bracket to face off either against Bath Salts or Dublin Apes in that last 16 decider. Let's check out a few more groups before we sign off. Let's move on to Group C. Let's see how things have gone there. Well, DCU Titans from Dublin, they move on after beating BCU Blue in that decider in 5 games. Of course, we said a little bit earlier, Javlaska beaten by Northern Lions, so the Dutch representative moving on as well in that group. So Staffordshire Stampede a little bit behind, need to move on in the lower bracket. And finally in Group D, 2 games still going on there, but Nottingham Trent facing off against University of West England Sea Stags. That is going on just like this one was an All England matchup. And of course, like you said, Doran's I can't say facing off against Lancaster. That's sure to be a good game. I mean, it just depends whether Films is playing PC films or console films. There's a huge disparity between those two. If you know, in the UK scene.
There is a huge disparity. I actually have something that I heard last night from Deleterious Mac on that. Films is called Tylacto a ball chaser, and that I just don't think should ever be something that can be said.
That is quite the statement from films coming out there. But like I said, that's the last game that will be streaming on the Rocket Kingdom channel tonight. We'll be back on Monday. But as for NSE action, if you enjoyed that last matchup with Portsmouth putting on a dominant display against Newcastle, tomorrow night, NSE, National Student Esports, UK University Competition, that'll be on.
I should be casting it.
You should be casting it. I should be playing it. And then
you might be on stream. I might be having a go at you.
Ooh, that'd be exciting. I'm gonna annoy you next Monday if you do take. If you do.
Well, actually, I won't be here next Monday because I have real life plans. I've got a date actually.
Oh,
so
well, you're gonna get it in a Discord message afterwards. But that will do nicely for EURC tonight. We've had teams move on to the last 16, and we have teams waiting for their fate, I believe, to be decided next Monday on stream in the lower bracket matchups, where we'll be eliminating the first set of teams from the competition, outside, of course, the qualifiers. That's all for next week. But as for this week, signing off, RW Dragon. Princey, thank you very much for joining us. And of course, thank you, Keezer, behind the scenes on production. Don't usually get the love.
He is the silent hero that just
exactly
pull this all together.
The backstage hero, Mr. Keezer. Thank you very much for also joining us and helping out with lobbies, matches, the overlay, the stream, everything that takes a lot off the casters. So much appreciated to you, good sir. And of course, let's go all out on the thanks to NSE, Uniliga, for coming together to create EURC and get this competition going. And of course, the Irish Collegiate League. They're also one of the university leagues coming together for this. So thank you, Space Marine, Cinerus, and I actually don't know the organizer in the Irish Collegiate League. So
you ruined this. You're going on too long.
I know.
Just quit.
I know. But EURC is important for the Collegiate League, as we we wanted to show against CRL on Friday. So thank you to all the behind the scenes sort of heroes that have made this stream happen, made this competition happen, and I can't wait to continue next Monday to have more entertaining matchups. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you all next week.